It's fun when you're starting to talk about wisdom and human wisdom to ask a question that we all know an answer to, even if we don't like it. Have you ever felt like a fool? For me, it's very rare. It only happens on days that end in Y. Actually, truth be known, friends, I feel like a fool very, very frequently. Not long ago, I took my car to the shop and said, "There's a rattle in the suspension. I think it needs to be fixed." 3 hours later, the mechanic came out with one of Ariana's toys that had fallen under the seat. And I went, "How much do I owe you?" And he says, "I'm a dad. I understand. Have a good day." We all feel like fools at some time. It's guaranteed. Whether you are, well, you can't see, but this high, or this high if your age is in 1 digit or 2 digits or even 3 digits. We all know what it feels like to feel like a fool. To think we know and then have it proved otherwise. To be shown just really how narrow our vision is. One of my favorite examples of how this is true culturally is that for a long time we said Bumble Bees cannot fly. Do you remember hearing about this a while ago? They said, as a matter of aerodynamics, a bumblebee can't fly. But no one stopped to tell the bumblebees. So it was impossible. According to our wisdom, we didn't have the right math to describe it yet. So we said it couldn't be done. We had to stop and look at them and understand them and turn them over a couple of times and say, you know what? They can fly. This took a team of scientists. It turns out that bumblebees fly very little like airplanes and a whole lot more like helicopters. But how do you think the bumblebees react to our declarations, whether they can fly or can't fly? Did our statement stop them from going from flower to flower? Or somehow halt their progress in their life? In fact, truly, it seems like they really did not care about our opinion. Our wisdom was foolishness to them. Thinking about that little bumblebee, you have to love that when Paul says, not many of us were wise by human standards. Can you imagine if someone said that to you? How would you feel? You're not wise. It's almost as if he's saying, you can't fly. Just on your own, you can't do it. But as we recover from Paul's words, we can start to hear the underlying value. It is true, using just my own faculties, using just my own wisdom, I'm a fool. And I have proven that time and time again. When I just work within my own little power, I'm a fool. And if I'm honest about it, I can see my own foolishness. Many of us have seen our own foolishness, haven't we, friends? What do we want then? If ours is so small and not up to the task, what do? We go find the expert. If we have a broken toilet, we go find the plumber. The kids knew that. If we want someone to dance on point, we go find a ballerina. Thank you, my ballerina. If we want wisdom, if we want to know goodness, we go find the expert. We don't say we have it, that somehow my collection of books has it. We go to the expert. We do tend to focus on our own skills. And I've had a chance to do a lot of pleasantries over the last week and a half, and we do have a lot of, what do you do? What do you know? What did you go to school for? Again, we tend to focus on our skills. But let us hear now that as Christians and as a church family, we are called to something else. Not just listing our skills, but listening to God. Not just going where our will, our wisdom for what we need to be, but asking God, where would you have us go? When wisdom is based on ourselves, it's minor. It really doesn't go very far. It only sees as far as we can see. We have to understand that the wisdom of God can see so much further. Now, and here's the other side of this conversation from Paul, because God sees so far, sometimes God's wisdom will look, shall we say, odd. It doesn't make any sense. Turn the other cheek. No, I want to slug the guy. The first shall be last. Why? I beat them in a race. I'm more important. Blessed are the meek. Really? The meek? The servant comes to the cross. Again, the wisdom of God might be for our whole goodness, but if we pull it apart, it might be a little confusing at times. This doesn't make sense. Turn the other cheek. Be meek. Be willing to be last. Be a servant, even to uncomfortable places. To help it make sense, I am going to use probably my only football analogy for the rest of the year. It's fitting it's Super Bowl Sunday. Think about it this way. Football matches, games, whatever, you can tell my sports, are competitions. You are fighting to beat the enemy so you might win. Right? I know a whole lot of other rules, but basically that's what it is. Now think about, in comparison, your coach came out and said, look, you're going to win. In fact, it doesn't matter if you beat the other guy up, stomp on him with your cleats or not, you're not going to lose. You're not going to fail. So I want you to go out instead and treat them as nicely as you can, because you know you have a place on the winning team. Our coach, our expert, our God is saying, you are going to win. I love you so much, I am going to make sure you're going to win. There's going to be some times in your life where you're going to want to beat up your enemies or to try and push your way forward in the pack. But you don't have to. I guarantee you are going to win. Listen to me, and I will share with you my wisdom. Friends, it might sound like foolishness from time to time, but if we understand where it is coming from, we will see truly we are on the winning team. We don't have to worry. We can instead respond with kindness and God's love.